one, as you say. So there's like, they have their own system there, like selection or whatever. But you can also, there's tactics to that. You know, some teams prefer to do the other one so they have the counter pick or whatever.
Right.
But aside from that, I can't think there's anything comparable. Because it is kind of wild, but yeah, in a third round scenario, which obviously decides a championship or whatever, if you just lose a knife round, you start on the side you hate. It's like,
yeah, but I still feel that that's, yeah, sure, but like, let's say it's a coin toss, right? Because like, sure, it's a coin toss, sure, but like, at least here, if you lose the knife round, it is still obviously a little bit random because you don't practice knife rounds, but you kind of have the fate in your own hands in that sense, you know?
Looks like a good start for compLexity here is Heroic, who's both pretty low on HP.
This is a great push, though. There we go, 2v2
even
now.
It up, and now they got to hit some shots, otherwise this health is going to be...
Yeah, but they've got the guns, though. I hate having a Glock in this scenario. Like, what a nightmare. That guy's a Glock nothing.
Oh, you do, Duncan.
Not bad. A little bit of burst fire.
Yeah, Duncan, the semi on the Glock is so OP if you stay moving. Like, not right bad. There, you know they're retaking close range. It's unless they headshot you instantly and they're half health, you just spam, like, chest level, you're going to kill them pretty fast. Super easy to move and shoot with. Tommy Covenant has joined us, so now everything will proceed as usual.
Will it, though?
Will it?
Would have preferred Maui Jim.
Full Eco from Heroic. I like this. We were talking to Gabi about that yesterday when he was on the couch. Like the preference of like buying second or just full saving now, and I think he's right.
I saw Big do a lot of ecos at them.
Right, yeah, but it makes sense, especially on CT side, right? Like, yeah, utility is just so important. So, like, why not?
Especially because the buy you're going to get is going to be so garbage. It's
right.
Like you're going to have to overwhelm the guy in terms of skill or get really lucky with the timing to kill them.
Yeah, but he was saying if you do buy second round, you might as well do it like back in the day where you eco third and you buy fourth.
Oh, you have to if you lose after you do it. I think so. Yeah, there's no point doing two forces.
No,
like
I'm saying like even if you don't
second force,
you don't have to full
so
buy second round, right? But let's say you buy like a deagle even. That's
okay.
You know, that's a lot of utility that you're just throwing away there. Two flashes in the smoke for coming into third round.
That's the one area I guess that it's not that bad is like at least if people buy CZs, they're not getting much from the kill bonus for that, so they have to actually kind of win the round basically.
Right, right.
Because they're not farming money from doing it, I guess, at least. Timeout already? It seems a bit unnecessary.
Well, I mean, it's the first weapon round. And they're keeping their SMGs, so probably want a good game plan coming into it. 4 of them. I'd like to see something close here then. Maybe like a Palace execute, B execute.
Someone in chat just said, instead of having a knife round, what if we had a pistol round to sides and then start the match with rifles?
No, but that's the thing. It doesn't work that way because then it's side dependent too. Like that's the beauty of knife round because it doesn't matter which side you knife from. Whereas for pistol round, it does. So you have to do a best of 3 pistol.
A map with pistols.
Yeah, but
now we're just
then it's like, yeah, then it just takes too much time too. Like this is just like, it doesn't take a lot of time. It's not random in the sense of like just a coin toss. No, but I think, but then, yeah, sure, it's the most random out of the two. But like, I don't like it. Like I prefer a knife where it's like, I can win this if I want to. Yeah, like I can practice knife rounds if I want to.
And it's a good build-up of the energy, I guess. Like you're in the server, you're watching the players.
Speaking of which, Very Games used to practice knife rounds.
That's probably the breaking point. Where
Dude,
they were like,
and they was insane.
Get out,
they
man.
did the fucking wall like this, right? And you try and attack him, and then you just sandwich you. Like it was just double slice.
Slice and dice.
Yeah, no, it was insane. So they started doing that, and then obviously they still couldn't beat us, so we just didn't give a fuck. But it worked against everyone else.
And then what they started doing was, like, actually using a filter to filter 10% of the oxygen out of the room, but they'd been training above sea level, you know, so their blood could like, take a little bit more.
Yeah.
It's like, we've got to do anything we can to win here, guys.
You know, I'm like choking, can't breathe. They're fine. Was that just a simple smoke? Did they do a palace round? I didn't pay attention.
I wasn't looking, man.
Shit.
Stop caring.
Maybe I was right. I mean, it looked like an A execute at least.
I mean, at this point in time, Stunna and Nothing is some sort of mad tag team who just take half the game off each. Like, right, you're in now.
Yo, Duncan, you want half this dick? Is that what you're saying?
That'd only be like half an inch.
Between the two of us, I think we put together a little more than that.
Okay. If we needed to on some sort of a project. A couple of dicks, a new production company with Triss Saranthes and Thor Bizzle.
No, ACOD. A couple of dicks.
ACOD.
Big Mac.
Me and Trace were just swapping positions as he's now the master of the ceremony.
Yeah,
okay.
Sometimes we, high five before we switch positions, but in this case.
In this case, it was more of just a swift pass around. We decided to let Duncan stay in his current position to keep the target comfortable.
Yeah. And now you're just trying to figure out, how do you pull off the Eiffel Tower?
Structurally speaking, shouldn't be that hard. I think we can do it, but
I think it's a pretty straightforward project here as we're looking at Def to come out of A ramp with the Mac 10 early.
Oh, hello, big boy.
3-0 for complexity, so they're using the economy to just do something quick. And even if they lose this round in like a 2 versus 2, their hope is to get Heroic down to 2 people. The reason being is you want to have the economy kind of in your favor because they're going to be able to buy next round as well if they get the bomb plant.
Rinsed.
So now this is just a fine round, even though complexity will probably lose it.
Almost did.
They'll be able to rebuy right here and potentially really hurt Heroic's economy. So that fast strat is good. Kind of get them worried. Use nades early on a ramp for the future rounds, etc. This is where it's cool as a tease. You either go straight into a default and you start setting the pace for the half and you kind of just work, or you do something to make them think you're about to default and then you explode. Maybe like a 3-out Halls, Astralis style, after a couple seconds go by. So we'll see what that opt in Shazam's hands and all the nades they have. I'm probably going to say they're going to go with some kind of slow default. Gotta take some late cat control.
Yeah, late cat control. You got to be careful here on Dust 3. Never really know.
Looks like they're going somewhat quick, though, as they're taking mid with pace, which is not what we see all the time.
Okay, I feel like Mirage, specifically with this mid area, is one where in which you can really tell of a team's like mismatchup, right? Like who's going to contest mid and who's not going to contest mid. Does it make sense?
What do you mean mid-matchup, though?
Well, I mean, if you go, like, if you look at 2 teams and you say like one's aggressive, like we want map control all over the place, right? Or if we have 2 teams and they're both like, oh well, we'll both not fight in middle at all, and then we'll take it late round.
Okay, so give me some examples.
Example would be in Jordan's career, at least, if I think back to what. Oh, you hear that? That's Domino's. Sorry, gotta go.
Yeah. He would be late getting the mids, and then next thing you know, he was only mildly high up on the chain of command. But he would be chain smoking, and in doing so, staying high all the time to keep your
Shout out Toblo. Shout out Toblo. Toblo.
A little bit of free association there.
Yeah. Is she Swedish, or she's Swedish, right?
Ooh, this is the little window flank from Stan here as he's going to make the play of the round.
I think she's Swedish.
Ooh. Now this is going to hurt the economy. If Mertz can't do something special while you guys are saying things that have nothing to do with the game here, Android's going to get another big frag.
Calm your little voice down.
Monty's going to say, my little voice carries farther than your big voice ever will.
Do you want to wear that monitor home around your neck? Because you're working on it.
I might put it around my neck just because I'm into that kind of thing.
Yeah, you put it around your neck.
Android here.
Got a little necklace for you, bud.
Monitor choker. But enough about device in the early days. Watching his demos, monitoring a choker.
You know, Duncan, we actually need to have like, there needs to be planned out like segments for Duncan.
Yes.
Because
he's got these one-liners.
Yeah, the one-liners are perfect. Yeah. So we need like, right after they take a bomb site, the silence, the silence will come from the commentator play-by-play. Yes. And then right away, boom.
You hit him with the one-liner, the zinger.
And then the color comes in, and he goes and goes and goes.
It doesn't have to be pertinent to what's going on at all.
And then the clutch is happening.
You've basically just set up a foundation for shit talk.
Yeah, I'm basically that guy on like Conan O'Brien who's just like co-host who sits there.
Yeah.
And then he just comes in with
That's
one line.
That's honestly what I was thinking.
And you're like,
I don't know why I was trying to be nice.
And then they just go back. He just like says nothing again. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
There's something to that. Complexity leading here 4-1.
Complexity leading 4-1, but
and
also
all for one. The Three Musketeers, a delicious snack that I found in that bowl over there. Bowled over I was by the Complexity performance, but a heroic comeback needed if Heroic indeed need to come back into this game. Name of the game, Counter-Strike. Counter-Strike Global Offensive, CSGO. Can you go? Go, 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 Gadget Arms, because we're back in the game with Heroic.
Yep, all for one and 1 for 1. That's exactly what we're looking at around here. Shout out whoever. Trailer Park Boys, Ricky, Julian, and Bubbles.
Okay.
Can you hear it,
Is
Trace?
one of them dead?
The shit winds.
The winds of shit are in the air.
Didn't one of those guys die?
John Dunsworth,
Yeah.
Mr. Leahy did, actually. Sad. Rest in peace.
You know,
he played an alcoholic in the show, and he didn't drink in real life. But he used his experiences from being habitual gambler. Not gamer, gambler.
Yeah. Tell you what, he'd leveled so many accounts up in World of Warcraft that he became a veteran actor. He sort of knew every kind of orc from every walk of life, every elf, and he took that into his craft as an actor. And his portrayal of Sauron brought tears to my dick.
He was Mr. Leahy, or Officer Leahy. Jim Leahy to you, Duncan.
Yeah. Officer to you when role-playing in the bedroom.
Yeah.
With those
maybe between
furry handcuffs.
Between him and Randy Bobandy, yes. Another round on the board here for compLexity. 5-1 being your scoreline if you're joining us.
You've got a very kind of musical tone to your voice. Is it because you spend all that time playing the rusty trombone?
Wasn't even remotely subtle. Wasn't even crowbar.
I know.
It might not even been anything good. Just wanted to say rusty trombone.
I did. Yeah,
so
you're right.
It was a recorder.
I did. You used to play the recorder. It's like, yeah, keep learning that song, kid.
Duncan, the audio guys just talked to me, and they said that you should put down the skin flute and stop playing it because it's really busting the levels, if you know what I'm saying.
Put it down and stop playing it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, full mid control here from Heroic, who are in a one-round hole where they find themselves. Ladies and gentlemen, come on, head on down here. We're gonna do a little bit of bingo. Bingo. 5, 5, 5, 5, 6, 5, 6, 5, 6, 5. We got a one-round winner here for Team compLexity. On the precipice.
Two fat ladies here for Mr. Saranthus. Front desk, two fat ladies.
There will be no fat ladies in my life. There's one beautiful Ukrainian lady named Vladislava. Okay. You have to be upset about that. Duncan, saltiness, sweating off the brow.
I'm not angry about it, but she looks like she is when I see her eyebrows every day, just with a normal resting face.
Excuse me?
She does have angry eyebrows. You must admit that
you don't
yourself.
Want to be on the other end of that.
That's
so
true.
Why don't you calm it down?
Okay.
Before your life is in jeopardy, and also mine for being a part of this conversation.
You shouldn't have set that up, mate. That was. Why are you throwing alley-oops to him?
Listen,
no, I didn't know he'd say that. Listen, come on. I can't be held responsible for that.
Duncan, it's your life.
Okay.
It's your brand. It's your career. I'm just saying, the Don Nuts Mafia is a real thing, bro.
Okay.
Bolo, be on the lookout. One, Duncan Shields. Indeed, mother.
MCAN.
Oh. Well, didn't work out.
Pretty boring game so far.
Well, contrary to what a couple of us were saying on the couch before, we heard Heroic walk past us and show some signs of confidence in the Mirage, but this is another map where Stanislaus' leading style can lend them to the scenario. You win pistol, and then you make a couple smart strategic decisions as a team, and you're going to get into a situation like this. So, still a lot of CS left to be played, but it's up to Heroic to stay confident and stay in this game, because if they start looking at the scoreline and just playing passive and let compLexity have the sights, it'll spiral out of control. But if they keep contesting, things can come back.
Things can't come back, and the buys are pretty equal on both sides. Double op set up there on a Mertz and S tag, as we do see 6-1 in favor of compLexity so far. And the second round here for Heroic is looming. Freiburg trying to hold this connector area. But, yeah, I'd have to agree. That's some real truth right there, Jordan. I'd have to agree with that. And furthermore, real slow play here from compLexity. Guys, where do we see this one formulating towards the end of the round?
Look at this. Oh, wow.
He's going to miss the first shot. Oh, no. Goes for the easier one. Nade. Nicely done. Nicely done.
Wow, good job.
That's such a big kill. Basically round over.
He didn't kill the most important person since he had
ago?
full. Just literally just
this
now.
This was like a year and a half, 2 years ago now. We could have used a lot of Snake references.
Are you talking about Stanislaw of Team compLexity?
We're way past
Stanislaw.
that point.
All I'm going to tell you is this. I've noticed people
all you're gonna say,
really cooled down on the whole Snake thing. It's actually a figure of speech, but you know. They've cooled down on the whole Snake thing once their beloved Stewie2K and Tarek didn't have any problem leaving a team. Tarek left about 4 teams in a row. I don't know why anyone is calling anyone snakes. Like, these guys left after you won a major.
Okay, Duncan.
Didn't even wait till another major.
Duncan.
If anyone's a snake,
Can you please explain to the people at home who might not know why Stanislaw was called a snake?
Because he left Optic when they were still a very good team, you know, and they had one bad major, so he left, and then fans at least thought that meant, you know, he'd betrayed his team and he was a snake for doing so. I think that's just getting a bit emotional. Like, I understand that obviously if you're a fan of well, it wasn't Cloud9 at the time, but if you're a fan of Optic, yeah, you're going to be mad that he left because your team's not going to be as good, but come on, mate. The only way that people get to your team in the first place is by leaving another team, so people went too far with that, I think. People went too far. And they weren't bantering, that's the key thing. If they were just doing it to be fun, okay, that's all right.
Banter.
People were just hating on him, though.
The same thing happened with Kirby.
Same thing with him, yeah.
No?
Yeah.
And look how that turned out.
No, I mean, yeah. I'm sure Astralis are just very happy right now.
I'm sure Astralis wept a solid 30 minutes, 45.
Probably a solid like 2 weeks until they won their first event. So we're like, huh.
Yep. And then
How
after
about
that, never stopped, did it?
Yeah, they're
Can't
still
stop,
laughing.
won't stop. Shout out Astralis, who didn't necessarily win that other tournament this weekend, but
the other tournament finished 4th. Navi just won.
Did they? Confirmed.
Yeah, 2-0.
HLTV confirmed. Not as sincere champions of the Blast Pro Series Copenhagen.
Whoa.
That other tournament has been alluded to by Jordan Gilbert.
Say my name. I was there, over here, write my next album.
She's right.
Oh, he could have gotten him, actually. There's a little bit of a mix-up with the weapon.
Let me get that on camera one time. Can we get that, like, on camera once?
What? What's going on here? San Jose Sharks, man. This guy's wearing a Sharks jersey in here, and it's...
Oh, yeah, man. I didn't see that guy. What are you talking about?
Go Kings, go Ducks.
I don't know what you're talking about there either, bud. It's all with the Rangers. King Henrik is somehow still bringing it in.
Oh, you're into the Swedish.
Henrik Lundqvist. Lundqvist?
Lundqvist.
Yeah, that's right. I got a jersey.
You do?
I do.
I can see that.
Sometimes it works out.
Catching Def off guard. That was a pretty common play like a year ago. Like everyone jumping on that little drawer dresser right there. Leon ready for the trade back, and Merch grabs one at connector as well. And this is what I meant. They need to keep fighting because they could easily get 6 to 8 rounds here if they just keep playing. Confidence.
Yes, indeed. Shazam now left with the AWP. 4, maybe even 50 seconds flat. Left on the clock for him with the bomb in hand. He's been trying to get a pick here. Can't seem to do that. He does get a kill there on Madi. Very snappy, but not enough.
Ooh. Good there.
They actually could have done with him planting the bomb there, to be honest. Like if you look at Ye's money, they could have done with a plant there.
Maybe. Well, pretty standard T-side Mirage these days. We've seen a lot of the variations. Haven't really seen, I don't know about you, Robin, or Trace, or Duncan. I don't know if you guys have seen any new metas recently on this map. You see
I just watch this game every single day of my life, but yes, please.
No, yeah. I mean, I just haven't. Like last year, like Cloud9, a lot of teams were doing this thing where they did the fast, like cat fake to connector split, where they were flashing through the connector smoke and rushing that. There's a lot of like subtle feints, like smoke here, scrim out A.
One thing actually that at the last tournament we were at Epicenter that FaZe Clan did, who won the tournament, and Mirage was a big reason why they won, was that they would do like when they would rush up the connector as terrorists, they would have people in A flash over at the same time. So even if you looked away, like you always got flashed. And it actually worked pretty much every time they did it. It was just like a split onto A basically.
Oh yeah, and additionally they were doing this thing as well where they were throwing the smokes over a lot and they were running out with them.
Yeah.
Not waiting.
Yes.
That's kind of come back a little bit. But other than that, God B was talking yesterday why he's getting a little bored of Mirage, actually. And it's because he feels like most games look the same with the high-level teams.
So what happens there?
Well, no, was that Mirage he was talking about? Wasn't it Cash?
You talked about Mirage too,
Oh,
though.
really? The same thing? Do you have to have mid, like, in order to do so?
Yeah, no, he agreed on Cash initially.
I'm sure that Cash has run through the same
Because the problem with that is
Mirage,
I think Mirage is actually their permaban. I think that's actually.
Oh, that's what I'm wondering. I think.
So it seems like a bit lame for him to just flame his permaban. Oh, that thing's a bit boring nowadays.
Maybe that's why.
Let me have a look.
But I think you have that on a lot of maps that just have like a very important mid. Like all the good maps have obviously a mid, but there's some of them that at least you don't have to have control of it.
Most all maps do have a mid.
That's
pretty,
the successful ones.
That's
right. Why Nuke is not very popular, because it doesn't have a mid.
What I would be excited to see is this this remake of Cash that's been teased, right? Like, let's perhaps see how that goes.
Oh, did you
that's
see
just
the
a skin remake, though, right?
Did you see the skin
it has
remake?
to be, right?
The A-bomb site has like a curved spawn wall.
Yeah, on the way back around, yeah.
I didn't see all the pictures, though.
Well, I think it took out the big red shipping container in the middle of the A-bomb site and made it into like a, what would it be called? I guess an APC, like a truck.
Oh, like a smaller truck? Or
I mean, it was a render, right? So it's hard to tell, really. But structurally, the map is great. And I think, actually, Moses came up with this idea where it was keep the maps exactly the same, but duration of seasons almost.
Yeah, he wants to swap.
Yeah, you change
bombs.
the boxes within the bomb sites around. And, that can make sense. That could really go pretty far. But Valve, hello? Valve, you there?
I mean, so I get where he's coming from, because that is less so of a big change where it's like, it doesn't take you as long to do that compared to do a whole new map.
Well, that
or like remake a whole new map.
The timings to getting into bomb sites is all the same. Like, none of that changes, which is cool. Right. It's just the structures of the bomb sites themselves.
Sure.
Either way, yes. It's going to be a little bit of a messy round here. It's going to be Depp and Shazam left alive here on the complexity side, trying to garner their 9th round. But Shazam going to be executed there on the back of that B bomb site with the bomb down. All to Depp now, hailing from that little bitty island of the UK. And every time I say that,
how long has he been on this roster now? It's been a long time.
It's been a while, yeah.
Right? You remember, Duncan? He's Def.
Def's been on this for years.
Right?
Put it this way,
yeah.
When I was doing E-League Season 1, he was on this team. I think it was Season 1, so that would be like mid-2016.
Yeah, wow. It would have been a while ago.
Because if you remember, he joined with another UK player called Surreal.
Yeah,
yep.
right.
Yeah.
What happened with him?
He just went back to the UK, I think. I don't think it worked out that very well on the team.
Okay. That's actually very impressive, if you ask me, you know?
I think, yeah, because obviously they had messed around with Slimmy back then, too.
Right.
Yes.
What is he doing?
Which even then he stood in. I don't know. He's probably
still around some team or other.
Slimmy's a poker player. Let me tell you, boys.
Oh, okay. Does he not play anymore?
Slumdog Millionaire.
I'm not sure. I don't know who he plays for.
Great teammate, great guy.
He was actually part of this team called War, right? It was like without anyway. Look, they were on a good trajectory, and then Jordan had this idea to pick up Slimmy for Cloud9, and I said, "Look, Jordan, this is a risk. You know that." And then we agreed mutually to bring him on.
And then what you did is you said, right, well, we'll hold fire and see how your calling goes, Jordan. And then you were like, right, yeah, that Slimmy guy sounds good. Get him in here.
Was I calling at the time?
You called just before that.
Oh, yeah.
The beginning of the year. It wasn't a good look.
No, yeah, our CT sides were insane because I was calling all sorts of stuff. T side, what my main issue was like, say you're like taking mid control and cash, and you want to say fake highway where you hit B late. When I first got into like the thought processes, it was like, hey Ryan, go white box, fight PK, smoke here. Yeah, I'm over-explaining because I actually felt like I always was looking forward to trying it because I wanted to force myself to think for more people and see how I could like shape up around and try to do less as an individual and just kind of play like kind of more passive role. And,
the chess master almost.
Yeah, I was just overanalyzing. I just needed to keep my thoughts abridged, and by the time I maybe could have done that, it was just not worth continuing down that path.
Well, I mean, even if you go on top of that, Jordan, I'll just say this on your behalf almost. It's like by the time the team got to that point, it was such a weird, dare say, dynamic within the team,
well,
right?
Yeah, we also, I mean, that's always the stuff that's harder to talk about because it's more, yeah, it was.
I mean, without highlighting anyone, we're saying like a big picture is like you imagine Sean leaving. That was the first step towards like a weird moment.
Ooh.
Oh.
I felt that shake in Mertz's.
Oh, you got a
Andrew
knife
gets
too.
a knife out of that, yeah.
Come on, son.
But it was it was a weird time to be in Cloud9, right? Because, you know, Sean having been this
Oh, and then we picked up
sort of
Stu, and we didn't know how to handle him as a player. And
yeah, I mean,
Ryan was going through some stuff.
Him being young, there was Ryan going through what Ryan was going through. There was Tyler and Mike. Obviously, Mike knew what he wanted in his future, but didn't necessarily think that that's something he wanted to jump out and do right away. You know, he was kind of timid about it. I don't blame him. But
yeah,
now,
well, I just remember I felt like a dictator because like I didn't know that fine line between like show up at bracket 1 and people not doing it, and I was like, well, I'm normally the nice guy, and that was a hard change for me to make because then I felt like I had 2 gears.
Wasn't that Stunna's job?
Yeah,
yes.
and he did it too. But the problem is like I still, as a strat caller, you still need to like not just be okay with it. We start that first scrim at 45 minutes.
Now, Fifflaren, think about
later.
this. I know you might have grown up with 2 dads, but now imagine having 2 dads.
Right.
So both of us trying to be the saying factor in things.
The alpha dad.
There had to be an alpha dad. Yeah, we had casual sex sometimes, me and him, but you know, that was the little things, right?
But you just said that you were the alpha at that point then. So
yeah,
I mean, I ran
top, bottom,
the pants in the bedroom. It was
top,
me.
bottom, top, left, right.
Jordan knows how I like it.
Tickle.
Likes it.
Soft, hard.
Slap and pickle. Anyway, Heroic coming back into this round in the last round of the half. Very strongly there, I
Deaf,
say.
making him deaf as he puts his bullet through his right ear. What?
Just thinking about my entire life there for a second. Took a few seconds. Duncan, anything you want to add on that note?
Gotta surrogate his kid. Get 2 dads.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was going with that one.
There we go. Not bad.
Too bad.
All right. Well, I'm quite happy with the Heroics comeback here.
That's right. A 9-6 half will conclude the last first half. That's right. Think about that one in your own time. The last first half of this best of 3, which did go to all 3 maps. compLexity, not looking too bad.
Not looking too
That's
bad,
so
but we're heading for 3. Who will be the last one remaining? In the end, the 6 appeal of adding all that up and trying to break it down again to whatever the factor would be. Not bad. Matt was actually. Problem is, I put too many actual real mathematical references in there. It kind of made it not as funny.
No,
so
like,
back to you with the numbers.
Yes, back to me where I'm beyond the numbers. What was that little show you do? Beyond the numbers?
By the numbers.
By the numbers, sorry.
Yeah.
Not a little show.
Beyond the numbers.
Beyond the numbers.
In which we transcend the concept of numbers and just communicating in a new manner.
Substances on which we will not declare which ones.
The likes of which we will not declare.
Indeed.
In our deeds.
Okay. Well, pistol
in
round
word
coming up.
and in deed.
Robin,
the
do you have
new
an Instagram?
show Star and Trace sent us some of this.
I do, but
Thank
So
you.
he does, but it's private because he's obviously got all the whores on there secretly. You know.
No, I do. I've never uploaded anything on it. So like I have an account solely to like watch other people's content, but I don't like to upload stuff myself.
Duncan,
That's
where
what we call
do you
creeper
correspond with all your
alert.
hoes, Duncan? What platform?
Instagram's
IRL?
pretty good, right? Instagram's pretty good. Yeah. No, the
So
thing
do you
is,
want me to tag
I'll
you,
just
Robin,
give
or
you
no?
a little secret right now.
No, you don't have to tag me.
I'll tell you a secret of life, right? If you actually have a brand like mine, you could actually get away with doing that. But I didn't used to have this brand myself. So my tip would be this, if you're a young guy out there. If your brand means you cannot ever have it revealed that you're messing around with women or that sort of thing, just don't do any of it online, mate. Because the problem is you're leaving like a log of all your conversations, aren't you? That's what'll kill you in the end.
Right. So if you want to be extra sneaky,
remember,
Duncan
I
has
always
a tutorial.
I always say this. It wasn't actually throwing that game that got iBuyPower screwed. It was the fact that D-Born had told his girlfriend all of it, and there was evidence. If you didn't have that, you had plausible deniability. With that, you're done.
You could have told her face to face.
Exactly. So same thing. It's like hood rules. Stay off the fucking landline. Get a burner if you want to have that conversation. Otherwise, tell them to their face.
Right.
Call to the streets. If they talk then, they get slapped up.
And actually, to bring it a little full circle there,
come on.
The ancient Chinese proverb is,
come on,
and I quote, "These hoes ain't loyal."
Right, yes, that ancient Chinese proverb. I thought you were going to go with the one where it was like, man with itchy ass, go to sleep, wake up with stinky finger. That wisdom.
Yeah, wisdom. We also call that stank finger, and which this is exactly what Heroic is getting in this business.
Cillian trying to win it, takes one
versus 2, and now 1v1. He can't seem to topple Shazam.
But in the end, Shazam hits him with a stanky leg.
Jesus Christ. It's Jason Bourne.
There we go. Yeah, you know that when I saw Matt Damon the other week, I said, "You're looking young." He said, "Yeah, I've just been born."
Nice, dude. Nice.
Said, "I was born yesterday." I said, "Right, what the fuck are you doing today? Shut up, you dickhead."
Don't talk about Matt Damon like that.
We had a very sort of like informal relationship, as you can tell, you know. I was like, "So how's Ben Affleck nowadays?"
Speaking of Ben Affleck, we brought in a Lurpus here. He's lurking in the backgrounds. Shout out Elon Musk.
We've strayed a little bit away for the game here in Mirage, but it is 10-6, and we were at first thinking Heroic would run away with this,
mate.
But this could be.
It's a big comeback.
In fact, we're going to be bringing in a special guest who's probably going to bring us back on the rails here. It's going to be not that sniffle effect. That's Duncan, D-U-N-C-A-N.
No one could hear that, mate. No one could hear that.
Does it mute when you push it up?
No, I don't give a fuck.
All right, well.
I would not expect me to be the one to bring this back on the rails.
Tommy,
I think that's someone else.
Tommy, you dress a lot like someone I've heard of. Elon Musk. Your clothing
he doesn't, but he does actually dress a bit like Bobby Axelrod from Billions.
That's right. The T-shirt that Tommy's going to be.
If anyone can see him, that's actually a straight fire. He just dressed just like that, exactly.
Well, 6-10 is the score currently.
Someone who ironically also fell afoul of SEC regulations on many occasions. Yeah, I'm loving this, mate.
Yeah, did you see that? Oh, boy. That's what happens. We need more of that.
Kenny and Steele.
Yeah, we need more of that in the Counter-Strike scene.
What do we miss?
Are they going head-to-head right now?
Check that out.
Even though we're at an event where you can put people... Even though we're at an event where you can put people on a couch and have interesting conversations, instead, all the drama's actually going on between two people at the event over Twitter. I feel like we've got a mistake in our game plan here, guys. Can't we just get them on the desk and have this discussion?
Well, the couch, and I guess I don't think they want to like say, hey, let's all fight here in front of the camera, but I think viewership would go through the roof.
Exactly. So stop being a massive pussy and take one for the team.
So let's paint the picture. Who's fighting who and who's in the right?
Kenny S and Steele. I don't even know who wins that fight. Man alive. I mean, Kenny S. He's half the time he'd be coughing up a lung, and then with Steele, I mean, Steele's got certain features that are quite large and would be easily caught by a blow.
Steele always goes back to the Reddit voice. He does. That's when
he always goes back to,
"Hey, you guys.
Yeah.
Hey, Kenny, shut the fuck up, man. Why are you like doing mistakes that I don't even do after 10 years?"
That's Kenny's like, why the fuck are you talking to me? You have certain games and the skins are fucking, you are making me sick.
Finally, he got to bring out the French accent because the other alternatives weren't really working.
I've been waiting for a chance all week. I was waiting for some shit to happen with G2. I haven't even done any of their games.
You've been like practicing the French for so long.
Yeah, this was really badly actually scheduled, guys. I wasn't even scheduled for any of the G2 matches. What?
You've been working on that for so long with Happy, so like, yeah.
Did you see the game yesterday, Duncan?
Guys, I hate to topple you here, but compLexity winning another round, giving them 12 on the board, edging ever so closely to the winner of the series.
Not looking good.
Now continue on about the shit talking. Let's go.
But Duncan, you saw the game yesterday on Inferno. The one where G2 executed out of Hall 7 times.
It worked.
On their terrorist side.
It worked. Blimp.
Hall pop.
What's the saying? Hit the player? No. Hate the game.
Well, it could have worked a little better.
Still worked.
Ooh, big kill by Mertz.
I mean,
they
shouldn't
lost.
work ever if it's
Shazam
rubbish,
was in a
right?
great position.
They lost mainly
right
because like Kenny S had fuck all kills in that series. It was a joke.
But now Mertz grabs a kill.
Shocks was going ham the whole time. Even Existence had a couple of good
just
maps.
talk over them, and maybe they'll get muted, and we'll just keep talking. What do you think?
Or you could just fuck off to wherever you live in California. Take this dickhead with you. Have a great time talking about Cloud9 and the game. I'll come to an event that's all about entertainment, and then maybe I'll be remembered.
I don't know.
Android trades
and then we can all have a fight afterwards if you want.
back. Stanislaus going to be able to maybe get this frag on the corner, but... Ooh, is that behind? That's default, and the round goes
The defuse has come through. It's rang through 13 rounds on the board for Heroic. So thank you, Duncan Thorin Shields. Hashtag fuck Thorin.
What the hell is Freiburg doing there? Why did he not rotate faster? Well, the bomb was not planted for him.
That was weird.
That was a big mistake. Because he's still in link. This whole time he's in connector. He's just not moving.
Oh, he thought he was getting contact on the connector guy, so he was hiding from flashes. That's why.
Love you, Duncan. Shout out to all the Shields worldwide. Thank you for tuning in to Hey There, Delilah. 13-6 is your score, and, well, as it stands, another bye coming out for Heroic, op in the hands of Mertz.
All the way back into
you know the problem here,
right?
Money. I don't know if you've ever seen the Joe Rogan podcast, right? But a problem that Joe Rogan as a person actually has is because in his group, he's always like the alpha, right? He's always the one leading the way. He actually has a really big problem when people tell like interesting stories of like, he always like sort of cuts them off or like downplays them, you know. Jordan does that all the time. Like whenever he's talking about some bullshit story, I don't just go, hey Jordan, shut the fuck up about that, bro. Look at the game right now. We got a 5v5 situation. We got full guns going. No, you just do that. What you do is you zone out the whole time and then go, okay. My ADD adult brain can't listen to this. So
I was looking at chat.
Can we go back into the game?
Oh,
you were looking at the Twitch chat. Look at the fucking game.
Hey, both of you cool your little jets, because you're nothing.
Sounds like he's got upset a little bit here. Yay, close A ramp again. About the game. Deflecting, right? It's not about me, actually, so that's someone else talk.
And that is why Tommy is on the couch right now to subdue the silence between these two. So if you could,
what was that? Why
go.
did they walk out one at a time? That's Yay gone. That was a weird call by Heroic. Really not been impressed by Asilian's calling. I still think they kind of need someone who's actually willing to take over that role.
I agree. Actually, I was quite surprised about that pickup to begin with. Honestly.
I mean, he could be your like fourth option as a rifler, but not the caller.
What was the history of Madi as a caller, though? Do people not like him as a caller?
He gave it a try, but like he just didn't want to do it, I think.
I've heard him 1.6, he wasn't the best.
I wish Adam kept calling. I think over time he could have.
He wanted to. He wanted to start keep calling, I think. Because it's one of those things of like, if you're already starting to call, like, you probably want to continue if you're having like a decent time with it, right?
Well,
so I asked him about it, and he's like, actually, I would have probably liked to keep calling.
Thing is, like, if you start calling, like, you just have to call them. Like, you can't just decide, like, oh, like, this week I wasn't like playing well, so, because then you're never going to
but that's the thing, because I think that he's also understood, right? Because, like, if you look at it, he's not as good as he was back in the day. And and that goes for a lot of, like, X or star players, right? So why not? Like, for him, I think he's so smart because he still has, like, a relatively, like, young age in the sense of he can still play for a few years. So why not? Like, you played for so long, there should be seriously, like, you must have learned something.
There should be some leadership quality, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he
does before.
He's got lots of winning experience, too, which helps when playing with younger players.
Right, yeah, exactly. So, like, I'm not quite sure about the Asilian pickup. Like, I think that the Mertz one was good. I think that they could have probably gotten, like, a more individually skilled player and, like, just have Adam do it.
Yeah, I mean, I think he would be potentially the best fit to do that.
I think he'd be a terrible in-game leader, personally.
Well, he didn't do super poorly at Optic.
No, but one of the things is, he's one of those players who defines what I think is a terrible mentality for an in-game leader, which is like every game, it's like, oh, we should have won that one. Like, this round should have gone our way. Like, you don't understand on that force buy. Like, I was just so unlucky. It's like, you got to be really realistic when you're an in-game leader, for my money. Like, you got to know when something doesn't work. You can't just be like, well, that should have worked, so let's run it again. It's like that's you can do that as a player, and in fact, even if you think of his role, entry player, yeah, you've got to kind of believe that like whatever you did last time should have worked again.
Confidence role.
Yeah, otherwise you're never going to do like the strat that didn't work. So like if he could switch that mentality, yeah, I'd be on board, but it's going to be tough to make that work.
I was on the desk with you on this one as well. PGL, the major that PGL had, right?
Sure.
You remember the conversation I had with like Adam just needs to play Brain Dead, and it was the Spirit Breaker one. You remember this whole thing, right?
Right.
Now, right. And the thing is, you're right. There should be two levels. He should either just do that, right, and not overthink things. But I think because he started calling an Optic, I think he's still nowhere near to that degree of like, hey, I'm not thinking, I'm just entering.
Sure, yeah.
I think now he's gone back to. Because he doesn't do this.
It's like a weird limbo in the middle.
It's
like you got to pick either way.
If you notice,
it's such a weird
you got to go to one extreme.
This is absolutely a fact if you observe it over the last 2 years. Anyone who's a good player who becomes an in-game leader, like temporarily, ruins their game.
Seized is probably the best example.
Everyone who's been in Gambit's done it now.
Right.
Hobbit, Adren, like they've all just wrecked their game. Like they can never go back.
Do you
think took Shocks a long time.
They're looking at the game in a different light now. Do you think that's probably got to be
because
what
it is,
right?
because they now they're not thinking of themselves. So like I'm the star player. Like you fucking I control you in that sense. Whereas like now you're calling, you're overthinking situations like, oh, that flash, blah, blah, blah.
I actually think that's the biggest thing is like a lot of these players, they play with their intuition when they get good. And then like when they start calling, that's when, for some of them, I think they, for the first time, really start giving thought, you know, like as to why they're doing certain things.
Right. And they don't realize how much
and that makes them question what their intuition actually tells them to do.
A good example of that is mouse sports currently. Like, Stico did so much, like, and they even said that too. Like, we didn't know what we were missing.
Dude, Christy is actually the player who's gotten much better since he started calling.
Right. So no, it's because I think a difference too, right? I think that in CS:GO, like when I started calling, I played better too because I play much better knowing where everyone is, what everyone is up to.
Yeah.
Right.
That
compared to other people.
I think, and that's what I think of. Like, what was my first initial issue is thinking too much about things that you shouldn't be thinking about because
you can't control.
You think I was trying to be like someone I shouldn't be like. I shouldn't be a Sean Garrett. I'm trying to call because that's not my forte. If I was trying to call, I needed to simplify before we went live.
Right.
So that I could just have information chunks.
Listen, Jordan, what did I always used to tell you?
Less thinking?
Pay you to tap heads, not think.
Tap heads, yeah. That was 1.6 days. That's because
no, that's true. I mean,
I had Tommy on my
team. You can say that about so many more people. Yeah.
Didn't pay Jordan to think. Pay Jordan to really focus on his crosshair and tap.
Didn't pay us enough.
Don't pay him to throw flashes, though. We know that to be
Molotovs.
Detrimental to everyone involved.
The flashes are a great thing.
Didn't you tell me this? Apparently, he got like the method treatment. They just banned him from Molotovs or something.
Yeah, in 2015.
Because people wouldn't believe like a pro player. That's been done a few times. Like that
was the
method in the old days. Yeah, they just told him like don't ever throw grenades. He was always like nading his team backs, and you know.
I had it wasn't. Yeah,
oh, this sounds like you.
It wasn't the flashes and smokes. It was the novelty.
Freaking Tommy's not allowed to have nades, by the way. Also, it's like I think it's
I got the Molotov treatment.
It's the 1.6 syndrome. Yeah, it's the 1.6 syndrome of like just don't give 1.6ers any nades because they have no idea what the fuck's going on.
But what that did is eventually, I think it was just more because I was still shifting from that entry to lurk role. So like randomly, I was just pulling out nades when I didn't need to. And then I started to realize the utility usage is much more timing than anything. So.
Well, this game itself of compLexity Heroic starting to crawl itself back. We got a gun round on both sides, guys. Maybe we focus up a little bit here and see that Heroic is postured towards that B side.
I mean, it's basically tie game if Heroic win 2 gun rounds, compLexity wins 1.
Now, Tommy,
that's tie game.
Your brother coaches this team, right?
Yeah.
And so I asked earlier, what were the odds of him moving from this team to, say, an INTS, for example, now that INTS is sort of solidifying themselves as a contender?
Well, INTS has a coach. Business coaching INTS. So I wouldn't.
Who?
So I wouldn't
Twister.
hold that. Twister.
Oh, right.
They're like his old school, like 1.6 Finnish player.
Do they have a coach and an analyst? You know, like how Big has the...
No.
Yeah, Kakafu and Legia.
Hey, listen. Never say never.
I'm not saying never. I'm saying like it's probably not happening anytime soon.
We're also talking to the one person that probably has all the insight, or you're just like trying to milk all this. Right?
It sounds like a little bit of a irregular sort of talk going on there, like irregular trading almost.
That was, what a false that was.
Sorry,
what a crowbar.
Not always my forte. But compLexity putting a 14th on the board. We're going to put our wrenches away.
Oh, they're here. They're here.
Oh, yeah, fuck it. They're here. This microphone, I just feel so soothed every time I'm just over here.
Feels great, don't you?
That's great, man.
14-9.
Yes, 14-9 is the scoreline. compLexity on the heels of taking the best of 3.
Heroic win a round, compLexity save twice, win a second round, 14-14, full money, done.
I got an old saying down in Tennessee, fool me once. I got it in Tennessee, probably got it in Texas too. So fool me once, can't fool me again.
No, he goes, fool me once, shame on...
Shame on you.
Me.
You, and then he goes, fool me twice. You just can't get shamed. You can't get fooled. Okay? You can't get fooled. It's one of the best speeches of all time, innit? Because you can just see his brain just degenerate, like, and you're just like, come on, buddy, you can do this. And then he just cuts it off. Like it's like when someone tries to pronounce a word twice, like specifica. It's just all about exact details of it, and you're like, yeah, well done. Your brain got there in the end.
Dude, I have so many occasions like that too. Where I'm just trying to pronounce something.
Just give it up.
You remember LDLC on like the remake event? It's impossible,
sure,
man. Like by far the worst.
Yeah, he was saying like LCDL or whatever, you know, some shit like that over and over again. Nothing will ever be worse though than when we did the first major DreamHack Winter, and I'm not joking. BSL every single time called them like LBG. You know when LGB was in that team every time. LBG. It's like Not even close.
I do remember that, actually. I remember that, yeah.
Because all the fans were just getting so triggered, like, it's not that. And I was even doing that thing where it's like, yeah, that's right, Jonas.
Yeah, LGB
you have to do
in
the game. And then he would just go, yes, LBG. You know, that's like, no, that's almost, buddy. I'm going to need to reel this one in for you.
Oh, man.
Well, let me reel this one in for the viewers at home. It's about to be 15. There it is. 15-9 on the board. compLexity, 1 round from taking the whole damn thing here. Over Heroic, of course. Tommy, anything you want to say about this? Or
I think Heroic just overly complicated that round after Mert got the pick. You could have just executed into A, probably had a pretty good chance to win. You knew Stanislav had a knob, so the retake wasn't going to be easy. Then they went back to middle and gave coL a chance to get a couple of picks there. How's that work, Trace? Back to you.
yes, indeed. I wasn't prepared for you to throw it back. So
It's all right. You have a microphone, so don't worry about it.
I do have this microphone and stand. Thanks.
It's a very Danish play here for on the 15-9 to just kind of do the 3 halls pop.
Shout out Sennheiser for the Danish plays.
That's start out in Heroic's favor on the trades, but compLexity still with 3 alive, albeit some low HP. If they hit a shot here, might be able to
Now listen.
make something of the retake, but they might also just be holding on to money is what it looks like here.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense for them. They have no money at all.
What are you saying listen for?
I was going to say, at 1,000 pounds donated to Movember, I will record Duncan and Nothing fighting in the backyard of the Summit House tonight.
At least make the stakes higher, like 10K.
I wouldn't want you to record a murder. That might be used in a trial later.
Yeah.
So.
You win either way, Jordan.
1,000 pounds.
You die or you don't die. Either way.
Do it. Get some free money.
It's all for
mental
charity,
health.
though.
It's all for charity. Let's remember the important
I
things
fucking
here.
hate charities.
Cool. Well, 15-10 now.
First of all, most of them are fake. Look into it online. What happens is celebrities
right.
and people who are rich corporations make charities to make it seem like they're doing ethical behavior. Most of the time, they pay massive salaries and logistical fees. And there's examples. An example I believe was Bono, where like 7% of the money given to his charity ever went to like the people in Africa or something.
7%. That's pretty good.
Terrible.
No, but that's why
I'm
that's why
kidding.
generally the only charities that make sense are the ones that are set up by like billionaires, where they
Bill Gates
themselves
Foundation and
they
whatnot,
pay
because
for
he
all the
obviously doesn't
administrative
give a
fees,
fuck.
and then
Yeah, right.
then the donations actually go to useful stuff.
I feel like it's the same with Red Cross and stuff as well, right? Because
Oh
they also
yeah,
have
like UNICEF
people,
and them. It's
right?
50%
Right.
administrative costs,
Yeah,
so that there's some dude running
That's
the
why-
local office for 300K a
Right.
year.
That's why you probably can say the same thing about like local charities too, right? In that sense.
But not about Movember.
Well, it's even. I mean, it's a model that really needs a lot of volume to scale, right? Because
Yeah.
the fewer donations you get, the less amount of money, the harder it is to just pay for a couple of people to be
right.
running it.
What about like X Prize? What do you think about that one, Tommy?
Well, it's over, guys. Let's finish the game.
X Prize?
Don't mean to
no?
cut you off there. No.
No, just
X Prize. I don't even know what that is.
yeah. It's a charity put together by the Musk family. They were in which they've raised $15 million.
Quite nice.
What is the X prize? Do you just you get turned in and wear a fucking mutant?
GG. compLexity. Moving on
You
to
become an
the
X-Man.
lower brackets.
It would appear as though
Winner
people have been
final.
removed from the
Lower bracket
broadcast
final.
in real time.
Okay.
Probably Duncan. We're gonna
Well,
be seeing
Heroic have definitely been removed from the broadcast in
Yeah,
real time.
in real
Just
time.
took a real fucking lot of time. And that's it. They're out. Go back to Sweden. Go back to Denmark. Go back separately if you want. Just fucking go back.
Jesus Christ.
Can we
will be-
evacuate the room, please? All losers out of the building. You can stay.
Do you think? So here's the question, Duncan. Here's the question,
It's
Duncan.
turned dark now, and it's gotten nasty at this point in time.
It's dark. You guys need to fucking
to
pull your
understand.
jets. Just because you got a Kobe Bryant
I know.
on doesn't mean you can do whatever you want in these thresholds of where the fuck we are.
No,
right
I
now.
actually think people with Kobe jerseys in LA can do anything.
Pretty
they
sure I
want.
can do whatever I
Yeah,
want.
I
Most
actually
likely.
think
Swear.
that's the rule.
Go commit a burglary, which is about what just happened here.
I probably wouldn't do that sort of humor when talking about people who are fans of basketball myself, but that's just
Jesus
me.
fucking
It's just
Christ.
me, mate.
Anyway, yeah,
It's just me.
compLexity have
I'd
done
keep it clean.
That's enough of Duncan. You can see that in the monitor now. Sorry, I didn't think. Either way, yeah. So what do we think about this matchup in terms of compLexity? Do we think that they have a long-standing run within the tournament still? I mean,
They're playing
over
Optic
Heroic.
at 6 or after the big game.
I think Heroic should have won Inferno. I was watching that from home. They gave up a couple of silly rounds at the end of the game. That was their shot.
Well, they also won
On Mirage, I think compLexity just looked better.
I think
I agree.
compLexity played better overall. There was some slip-ups on Inferno, but compLexity also got ecoed one round on Inferno that almost hurt a lot. So, in the end,
Yep.
the slightly better team won.
Yeah, I agree. Closing thoughts?
Closing thoughts are this. Head over to bts.gg/store. Pick up some merch. I'm wearing one of the shirts right now. It's pretty dope, and I'm going to entice you to do the same. Anything you want to say, Duncan? I feel like you've got some things you want to say.
Fuck everyone.
There it is. Hashtag not going to do that. We're going to be going to a break. When we come back, we have our next break. We have our next game after this break, so make sure you're here with us. You wouldn't want to miss any of this nonsense. God bless them all.